Hello all, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to cover the SysOps Administrator Associate SOA-C02 Learning Path. I recently passed the AWS Certified SysOps SOA-C02 exam with an overall score of 840, and I would like to share the experience and some key tips. SysOps Administrator Associate Exam SOA-C02 is an updated version of SOA-C01. SysOps Administrator SOA-C02 is the first AWS exam to have hands-on labs as the part of the exam. However, from March 2023, AWS has temporarily removed the labs from the exam. However, I would cover both the formats, that is, with and without labs, in this learning path. Please check the AWS website for the updates before you appear for your exam. SOA-C02 is intended for system administrators in the cloud operation role and validates your ability to deploy, manage, and operate workloads on AWS. The key domains covered are monitoring, logging, and remediation domain, which covers implementing metrics, alarms, and filters by using AWS monitoring and logging service and remediating these issues. Reliability and business continuity domain covers implementing scalable, elastic, highly available, resilient environments and developing backup and restore strategies. Deployment, provisioning, and automation domain covers provisioning and maintaining cloud resources, automating manual or repeatable processes. Security and compliance domain covers implementing and managing security, compliance policies, and data and infrastructure protection strategies. Networking and content domain covers implementing networking features and connectivity, configuring domains, DNS, content delivery, and troubleshooting network connectivity issues. Cost and performance optimization domain covers implementing cost and performance optimization strategies. You can go through the exam guide mentioned in the description for more details. SysOps Administrator SOA-C02 is the first AWS exam that included two sections, objective questions and hands-on labs. If you are appearing for the exam with labs, then the SOA-C02 exam consists of around 50 objective type questions and 3 hands-on labs that needs to be answered in 190 minutes. Labs are performed in separate instances. Copy-paste works, so make sure you copy-paste the exact names on resource creation. The labs are pretty easy if you have worked on AWS. Plan to leave at least 20 minutes for each lab completion. Note, once you complete a section and click next, you cannot go back to the section, and the same applies for the labs. Once you complete a lab, you cannot return back to the lab. Practice the sample labs provided by AWS when you book the exam. This would give you a feel of how the hands-on exam would actually work. If you are appearing for the exam without labs, then the exam consists of 65 questions in 130 minutes. And the time is more than sufficient if you are well prepared. The objective questions consist of multiple choice and multiple response questions. The SysOps Administrator has a scale score of 100 and 1000, and the scale score needed to pass the exam is 720. There is no negative marking, so make sure you attempt all. Associate exams currently cost $150 plus tax. You can get an additional 30 minutes if English is your second language by requesting exam accommodations. AWS exams can be taken either remotely or online. I prefer to take them online as it provides a lot of flexibility. I've prepared for the SysOps Administrator exam for a month and a half. A month mainly going through the online course and trying out hands-on, and the last 15 days practicing the tests and looking out for my weaker areas and reading AWS documentation. I would recommend you have a consistent game plan for each week. Take out an hour each day to go through an online course do some hands-on exercises and practice tests. I have listed down some of the resources I used. Just choose an online course or practice test set and you should be good to go. SysOps Administrator exam mainly focuses on SysOps and DevOps tools in AWS and the ability to deploy, manage, operate, and automate workloads on AWS. I've covered some of the topics below, so be sure to go through the links. AWS keeps on adding new services as the exam is updated. CloudFormation provides an easy way to create and manage a collection of related AWS resources, provision and update them in an orderly and predictable fashion. CloudFormation concepts cover templates, which act as a blueprint for provisioning AWS resources, stacks, which are a collection of resources as a single unit. They can be created, updated, and deleted by creating, updating, and deleting stacks. Change sets present a summary or preview of the proposed changes that CloudFormation will make when the stack is updated. Nested stacks are stacks created as part of other stacks. The CloudFormation template anatomy consists of resources, parameters, outputs, and mappings. CloudFormation supports multiple features including drift detection that enables you to detect whether a stack's actual configuration differs or has drifted from its expected configuration. Termination protection helps prevent a stack from being accidentally deleted. Stack policy can prevent stack resources from being unintentionally updated or deleted during a stack update. Stack sets help create, update, or delete stacks across multiple accounts and regions with a single operation. Helper scripts with creation policies can help wait for the completion of events before provisioning or marking resources complete. Depends on attribute can specify the resource creation order and dependency and control the creation of a specific resource follows another. Update policy supports rolling and replacing updates with auto-scaling. Deletion policies can help retain or backup resources during stack deletion. Custom resources can be configured for use cases that are not supported by CloudFormation. For example, interacting with external services. You should understand CloudFormation best practices, mainly nested stacks and logical grouping. Elastic Beanstalk helps to quickly deploy and manage applications in the AWS cloud without having to worry about the infrastructure that runs those applications. Know the different Elastic Beanstalk deployment strategies with their advantages and disadvantages. OpsWorks is a configuration management service that helps to configure and operate applications in a cloud enterprise by using Chef. AWS organizations know the difference between service control policies and IAM policies. The service control policies provides the maximum permission that the user can have. However, the user still needs to be explicitly given IAM policy permissions. Consolidated billing enables consolidated payments from multiple AWS accounts and also includes combined usage and volume discounts, including sharing of reserved instances across accounts. Systems Manager is the operation hub and provides various services like Parameter Store, Patch Manager, Sessions Manager. Parameter Store provides a secure, scalable, centralized storage for configuration data and secret management. However, it does not support automatic secrets rotation. Use Secrets Manager instead. Session Manager provides secure and auditable instance management without the need to open inbound ports, maintain bashing hosts, or manage SSH keys. Patch Manager helps automate the process of patching managed instances with both security-related and other types of updates. CloudWatch collects monitoring and operational data in the form of metrics, logs, and events and helps visualize it. EC2 metrics can track disk, network, CPU status checks, but they do not capture metrics like memory, disk swap, or disk storage. You can use CloudWatch Unified Agent to gather custom metrics from both EC2 instances and on-premises servers. CloudWatch alarm actions can be configured to perform actions based on various metrics. For example, target scaling based on CPU. CloudWatch alarm can also be used to monitor status checks on an EC2 instance and automatically recover the instance if it becomes impaired due to an underlying hardware failure or a problem that requires AWS involvement to repair. CloudWatch logs can be used to monitor, store, and access log files from EC2 instances, CloudTrail, Route 53, and other sources. You can also create metric filters over the logs. CloudWatch subscription filters can be used to push logs to Kinesis data streams, Lambda, or Kinesis data firehose. EventBridge or CloudWatch Events is a serverless event bus service that makes it easy to connect applications with data from a variety of sources. EventBridge can be used as a trigger for periodically scheduled events. CloudTrail for audit and governance. With organizations, the trail now can be configured to log CloudTrail data from all logs to a central account. CloudTrail log file integrity validation can be used to check whether a log file was modified, deleted, or tampered with after being delivered. AWS Config is a fully managed service that provides AWS resource inventory, configuration history, and configuration change notifications to enable security, compliance, and governance. It supports managed as well as custom rules that can be evaluated on periodic basis or as the event occurs for compliance and trigger automatic remediation. Conformance Pack is a collection of AWS config rules and remediation actions that can be deployed as a single entity in an account and a region or across an organization in AWS organizations. AWS Control Tower to set up, govern, and secure a multi-account environment. Service Catalog allows organizations to create and manage catalogs of IT services that are approved for use on AWS with minimal permissions. Trusted Advisor provides recommendations that help follow AWS best practices, covering security, performance, cost, fault tolerance, and service limits. AWS Health Dashboard is a single place to learn about the availability and operations of AWS services. Cost allocation tags can be used to differentiate resource costs, and it can be analyzed using Cost Explorer or on a cost allocation report. VPC or Virtual Private Cloud provides virtual network in AWS Cloud. Understand public subnets, the one that have access to the internet, versus private subnets with no access to the internet. Route table define rules termed as routes, which determine where network traffic from the subnet would be routed. Internet gateway enables access to the internet. Bastion host allows access to instances in the private subnet without directly exposing them to the internet. It is recommended to use Session Manager instead now. NAT provides managed NAT service that provides a better availability, higher bandwidth, and requires less administrative effort to route traffic from private subnets to the internet. Virtual Private Gateway helps in connectivity between on-premises and VPC. Egress-only Internet Gateway is relevant only to IPv6 traffic to allow ingress traffic from private subnet to the internet without allowing ingress traffic. VPC flow logs enables you to capture information about the IP traffic going to and from network interfaces in the VPC and can help in monitoring the traffic or troubleshooting any connectivity issues. Security groups versus NACLs. Understand the key differences between them. Security groups are stateful while NACLs are stateless. VPC peering provides a connection between two VPCs that enable routing of traffic between them using private IP addresses. VPC endpoints enables the creation of private connection between VPC to supported AWS services and VPC endpoint services powered by private link using its private IP address. You should also be able to troubleshoot and debug networking issues like EC2 not accessible, not reachable, or not able to communicate with others or the internet. Cloud 53 provides a scalable DNS system. It supports alias record type that helps manage zone apex records to ELB, CloudFront, and S3 endpoints. Understand different routing policies and their use cases. Failover routing policy helps to configure active-passive failover. Geolocation routing policy helps route traffic based on the location of the users. Geoproximity routing policy helps route traffic based on the location of the resources and optionally shift traffic from resources in one location to resources in other. Latency routing policy helps route traffic to the region that provides the best latency with less round-trip time. Weighted routing policy helps route traffic to multiple resources in specified proportions. Mainly focus on weighted, latency, and failover routing policies. Load balancer with auto-scaling help design scalable and highly available applications. Understand the key differences between ELB, ALB, and NLB. ALB provides content and path routing. NLB provides the ability to give static IPs to the load balancer, especially if there is a requirement to whitelist IPs. Load balancer logs provide the source IP address and it's captured in S3. Load balancer supports sticky sessions to enable the load balancer to bind a user session to a specific target. CloudFront is a fully managed fast CDN service that helps speed up the distribution of static, dynamic, or streaming content to the end users. CloudFront can be used with S3 to expose static data and website. No VPN and Direct Connect to provide AWS to on-premises connectivity. However, it's not covered in much detail. Elastic Compute Cloud or EC2 provides compute in the cloud. Understand different EC2 purchase options, especially spot instances and improved reserved instances options. Understand how to use the EC2 metadata and user data. Use IAM role with EC2 instances to access AWS services. IAM role can now be attached to stop and running instances as well. AMIs provide information required to launch an instance, which is a virtual server in the cloud. AMIs are regional and can be shared publicly or with other accounts. Only AMIs with unencrypted volumes or encrypted with a customer managed key can be shared. Use pre-baked or golden images to reduce startup time for the application. You can use EC2 Image Builder. Understand how to troubleshoot EC2 issues and monitor EC2 instances. If there is a system status checks failure, you can stop and start the EC2 instance. If there is an instance status check failure, you can reboot the instance. EC2 supports instance recovery, where the recovered instance is identical to the original instance, including the instance ID, private IP address, elastic IP address, and all instance metadata. EC2 Image Builder can be used to create pre-baked images with software to speed up booting and launching time. Understand placement group. A cluster placement group provides low latency, high performance computing by logically grouping of instances within a single AZ. Spread placement groups is a group of instances that are placed on distinct underlying hardware, that is, each instance on a distinct rack across AZ. Partition placement groups is a group of instances spread across partitions, that is, group of instances spread across racks across AZs. Autoscaling helps scale the AWS resources as the demand varies. Autoscaling can be configured with multiple AZs to provide high availability for launching instances across multiple AZs. Autoscaling attempts to distribute instances evenly between the AZs that are enabled for autoscaling group. Autoscaling supports dynamic scaling, which allows you to scale automatically in response to the changing demand. Scheduled scaling, which allows you to scale the application in response to a predictable load change. Manual scaling can be performed by changing the desired capacity or adding and removing the instances. Autoscaling lifecycle hooks can be used to perform activities before instance termination or launch. Lambda provides serverless computing. Lambda functions can now be hosted in a VPC with internet access controlled by a NAT instance. RDS proxy acts as an intermediary between the application and an RDS database. RDS proxy establishes and manages the necessary connection pools to the database so that the application creates fewer database connections. S3 provides unlimited object storage service. Understand different storage classes with lifecycle policies. S3 data protection provides encryption at rest and encryption in transit. S3 default encryption can now be used to encrypt the data with S3 bucket policies to prevent or reject unencrypted object uploads. Multi-part handling can be used for fault-tolerant and performant large file uploads. S3 provides static website hosting and CORS support. S3 versioning can help recover from accidental deletes and overwrites. Use it with MFA. Pre-signed URLs can be used for both upload and download. S3 transfer acceleration enables fast, easy, and secure transfer of files over long distances between the client and an S3 bucket, using globally distributed edge locations in CloudFront. Understand Glacier as archival storage. Instant Store and EBS provides block storage for EC2 instances. Instant Store is ephemeral, while EBS is persistent. Know the key differences between EBS and Instant Store volumes, their use cases and limitations, especially focusing on IOPS. Storage Gateway allows storage of data in the AWS cloud for scalable and cost-effective storage while maintaining data security. EFS is a cost-optimized, serverless, scalable, and fully managed file storage for use with AWS Cloud and on-premises resources. It supports data at rest encryption only during the creation. After creation, the file system cannot be encrypted, and the data must be copied over to a new encrypted disk. It supports general purpose and max I/O performance mode. FSX makes it easy and cost-effective to launch, run, and scale feature-rich high-performance file systems in the cloud. FSX for Windows supports SMB protocol and a multi-AZ file system to provide high availability across multiple AZs. AWS Transfer Family provides a secure transfer service that helps transfer files into and out of AWS storage services using FTP, SFTP, and FTPS protocol. AWS Backup can be used to automate backup for EC2 instances and EFS file systems. Understand the various storage options: S3, EBS, Instant Store, EFS, Glacier, FSX, and what are the use cases and anti-patterns for each. RDS provides cost-efficient, resizable capacity for an industry-standard relational database and manages common database administration tasks. Understand RDS multi-AZ versus read replicas and the use cases. Multi-AZ deployment provides high availability, durability, and failover support. Read replicas help enable increased scalability and database availability in case of a regional failure. Automated backups and data change logs enable point-in-time recovery of the database during the backup retention period, which can be up to last 5 minutes of a database usage. Aurora is a fully managed MySQL and Postgres compatible relational database engine. Backtracking helps rewind the DB cluster to a specified time and performs in-place restore, but it does not create a new instance. Automated backups can help restore the DB as a new instance. No elastic cache and its use cases, mainly for improving the performance. Redis provides multi-AZ support to provide high availability across AZ. DynamoDB provides low latency, performant, key-value NoSQL store. IAM provides identity and access management services. IAM roles provide permissions that are not associated with a particular user, group, or service and are intended to be assumable by anyone who needs it. Make sure to use them with your EC2 instances and Lambda functions. Know IAM security best practices, especially in terms of least privilege. Understand the process to configure cross-account access using IAM. S3 encryption supports data at rest and in-transit encryption. S3 supports server-side encryption with SSE, SSE-KMS, and SSE-C. S3 default encryption can help encrypt objects. However, it does not encrypt existing objects before the setting was enabled. You can use S3 inventory to list the objects and S3 batch to encrypt them. KMS management services helps provide keys for encryption at rest. However, it does not support encryption in transit. AWS WAF, a web application firewall, helps protect the application against common web exploits like cross-site scripting or SQL injection and bots that might affect the availability, compromise security, or consume excessive resources. AWS Guard Duty is a threat detection service that continuously monitors the AWS accounts and workloads for malicious activity and delivers detailed security findings for visibility and remediation. AWS Secrets Manager can help securely expose credentials as well as rotate them. Secret Managers integrate with Lambda and supports automatic secret rotation for services like RDS DocumentDB. AWS Shield is a managed DDoS protection service that safeguards application running on AWS. Amazon Inspector is an automated security assessment service that helps improve the security and compliance of applications deployed on AWS. It automatically assesses application for exposures, vulnerabilities, and deviations from best practices. AWS Certificate Manager helps handle the complexity of creating, storing, and renewing public and private SSL/TLS certificates and keys that protect the AWS websites and applications. AWS Artifact can be used as an on-demand access for compliance reports. Analytics and integration tools. Know these at a high level. For example, Kinesis for real-time data ingestion and analytics. Know the key differences between Kinesis Data Streams and Kinesis Data Firehose. Kinesis Data Firehose integrates with S3, Redshift, and OpenSearch. You can use Lambda functions for any inline data transformations. SQS can be used as a messaging service and provides loose-coupled architectures. SQS supports standard and FIFO queues. FIFO provides exactly once delivery while maintaining order, however with lower throughput. I have listed some of the use cases that you can practice for your hands-on lab experience. Make sure you're relaxed and get some good night's sleep. Make sure you reach early, or if taking the test online, please log in early. The online verification process does take some time, and usually there are glitches. Also, I prefer to use passport for identification. I have had issues using other documents for identification. Make sure you have your desk clear, no hand watches, phones away, no cabs, and nobody can enter the room. Remember, you cannot take the test if you turn up for the test over 30 minutes from the test time. That's it. I hope this learning path helps you in your journey and certification. All the best. Thank you. Alright, that was it. Thank you for watching. You can check out my website and connect me on LinkedIn and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. For any feedback, please leave a comment down below. To see more videos like this in the future, hit the subscribe button. Thank you.